so do you think that the situation with dating, does it mostly fall on ladies today, or does it mostly fall on guys?
I would say the younger women are making it harder to date because they walk around with no bras, no self-esteem, and always have their hand out. So for women who do have everything together, it makes it harder.
So before, kind of before the break, before COVID, how was dating for you?
Before COVID, I think there was sort of like a stigma that at a certain age, you have to sort of date, and there's like a path that you kind of have to follow. You have to date someone by a certain age. By like late 20s, you might want to get married, and then 30s, like early 30s, you have to have kids. And so I guess I was sort of like a sheep in that sense. And then I thought, okay, maybe even though I don't feel like it, because the society sort of is expecting me to go in that path, my parents, coworkers, everyone, etc. So maybe. But once COVID hit and we're sort of like forced into this isolation, and when we're isolated in a place where we can't really go out, and meet new people, sort of forced in that, that changed everything, to be honest.
Yeah. And so it took a bit of that pressure off of you?
Right, for sure.
So, what? So you said dating is not awesome today.
No.
Okay. Do you think it mostly falls on men or women?
Both.
I think it falls on both. Okay. Well, what's the biggest problem that you're running into coming from men?
They just want me for my body.
Just want you for your body. Okay. And what do you think the biggest reason, the biggest downside coming from women is, from men?
I guess we can be a little picky, for sure. For sure. We have high standards.
Well, there's a study on Tinder, Bumble, those things. Women only swipe left on the top 10 to 20% of guys. The rest of the guys can literally swipe 1,000 times and not get a match. All the ladies are swiping on the same guy, so those guys are in high demand. So since, just like you're in high demand from those average guys, the top 20% of guys are in high demand from ladies like yourself. So that's another thing to look out for. So, okay, so let's do this. So let's say there's two rooms, okay? So you hit 18, and there's only two different types of guys you can date, two different rooms, okay? So we got room A and we got room B. In room A, and let's say even the guys, they look the same. Let's say we got identical twins. One goes into room A, one goes into room B, right? And so, and let's say in both rooms, all the guys make 150 grand a year. So they all are decent there. Okay, he's like, okay, both rooms are sounding good so far. All right, so in room A, these guys, they're very similar. So they're all marriage minded. So that's what they want. So all these guys, they only want to date for a long-term relationship that can lead to marriage. They all believe, that they should be the guy who providers. So they think they should pay the majority of the bills. They think they should be protectors. They think they should be leaders, things like that. They think ladies should be treated like ladies. Birthdays, anniversaries. I know he never forgets the anniversary, right? Yeah, so birthdays, anniversaries, Mother's Day, things like that. They always make a show. They're pretty standard that way. All the guys in room A. In room B, it runs the gamut. So you got guys who are who do like hookup culture, guys who want to do short-term relationships. Some guys want to get married in there. Some guys don't want any relationship. It runs the gamut. It's everything in there. If you had the option, 18, you have to pick one room, only one group you can date from. Which room would you pick?
Dang. If I was my 18 naive self, I would probably go with room A.
You just go with
when
room
I
A?
really don't know anything, and I think 18 is a time when I needed a figure to sort of like lead me through the way. So to have someone who seems to know everything, who has that financial stability, who can provide, I would probably choose room A if I was 18.
One room has guys that are, so in both rooms they make $150,000.
Oh wow!
Okay.
A year?
Yeah,
Okay.
$150,000 for both rooms. And also, let's say they're identical twins. One goes to room A, one goes to room B. So nobody looks better than anybody else.
Right. Okay.
So the difference is in like their mindsets, their values. So in room A, you have guys who they believe that they should be the provider. They should pay the bills. They should be the protectors. They think ladies should be treated a certain way. They should be treated like ladies.
Okay.
Right. So these men also think, you should, like I say, treat them a certain way. So Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, anniversaries, birthdays, they always make a show of it, make their ladies feel special, things like that.
Okay.
And they're only interested in relationships that will lead to marriage. That's all they look for. And in the next room, you have guys that they run the gamut.
Okay.
So they from, they one night stands, cheaters, married guys, people who want to get married long term as well. People looking for short term dating, long term dating, everything. You just kind of go in there, you find, you kind of go through, find what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Or what you want. Which room would you pick if you had to go one way? You couldn't choose another one afterwards.
I would go the way that people want to be married and long term and want to treat me like I'm supposed to be treated and value me like I'm going to value them.
Okay, so you would go room A.
Okay.
Okay, and do you want to be remarried one day?
Yes.
You do, okay.
It feels good to come home to somebody.
Figure it out. You got guys who lie. You got married guys. I got everything in this other room.
What's the first one again?
The first
They
one,
know exactly what the hell they.
yeah, and they only want
What's
to
the
date.
plot twist? Because why wouldn't we go with the first one?
Well, which one? Well, not every lady says one or the other. Which one would you two go with?
I'm a Scorpio. I need to know that you all in.
Okay. So all in. So are you saying room A?
Room A.
What about you?
I would say room A.
Okay.
Like, as of now, I'm room B, but I don't want to be room A.
So you want to move to room A? Okay.
Yeah.
So
She room B.
I know, but I said I want to move to room A.
so which room would you pick if you couldn't go back? You could pick that room and you got to stick with it. Which one would you pick?
Room A.
You pick room A. Okay. And why would you pick room A?
Because I want a good life. I want to love someone like if they love me. Like, that's literally what I look for.
100%. And so, do you want to be married one day, I assume?
Yeah.
And how old do you, by what age?
27, 26, around that area.
Okay. How old are you now?
20.
You are 20 years old. Wow, okay. Okay. Well, so what's the goal? So that is 6-7 years away. What's your goal for dating now?
Honestly, right now, nothing.
Okay. Well, which room would you choose now?
Room B.
You would do room
Yeah,
B?
for sure.
Kind of run the gamut?
For sure.
Okay.
All the way.
Okay. And then why room B? Perfect. And what's the more appealing thing about room B?
Room B, I feel like I would be the person in room A for the people in room B.
What's the goal for you dating right now?
Stability, communication. To know that you have those things and you are going somewhere and that you have a 5-year plan.
Yeah, 5-year plan.
Yeah.
That's right. So it sounds like a man that's like a leader. Okay.
Yeah.
So in general, do you think men need to do better and be better in general?
I think both of us do.
Okay.
Yeah, women have lowered their standards just to be with people. We tolerate a lot more than we should now, just so we don't have to go back into the dating pool.
Ladies, so do either one of you eventually want to be married?
Yeah. That's
risky, but yeah. How was it risky?
because I need to know that you here for me. You gonna be with me through all the phases that I'm gonna be through. Because I'm not gonna be the same person I am. I'm gonna be a different person every day. And if you're able to deal with that,
Bitch got multiple.
Got
and if you're able to deal with me changing my personalities and growing, then I know you're for me.
Okay. Now, okay. So, do you think in general men need to do better to be
Yes, of course.
better? Do you want to be married in the future?
I would say so.
Do
But not-
you have an age by which you think you want to be married?
Maybe like mid to late 30s.
Mid to late 30s?
Like
Okay.
labor, like, women, biology aside, if I had the choice. Like
Okay.
mid to late 30s.
If you can name 2 things, where should they improve?
Communication, first. Second, I would definitely say, I guess in commitment as well.
Well, what's something that men should improve?
Communication. You guys, you're used to going and coming as you please and not having to say, hey, I'm leaving and going to the store. Just communication barriers are just things that men just need to open up a little bit more about.
And what about ladies? What's the number one thing ladies should work on right now?
They need to be able to stand on their own 2 feet.
You can't take my individuality away from me. Like, I have to know that I'm contributing something to this relationship.
Gotcha. Well, do you think women should be held to gender roles in the 50s?
Nah.
I think yeah.
You think yeah? Okay. And why do you think?
Because I think in the end, 9 times out of 10, a nigga ain't gonna know how to cook. And if you gonna want some good healthy shit, the female gonna cook. Like, why the bitch if you with a bitch that don't know how to cook, why you with her?
What about gender roles? Do you think gender roles have a place in the world today?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, do you think women should be held to their gender roles?
To an extent.
To an extent. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think men just in general being better communicators should just be a standard that's like, men, you need to do this?
Yeah, just open up. Just say, hey, I'm going to the store. Hey, I'm going to my mama's house. I'll be back.
Gotcha.
Just small stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm not. And so do you think men should be held to their gender roles?
I mean, to a certain extent, yeah, because I have a little brother. It's like, as a man, you're supposed to provide. You know, you don't want no lady having to hesitate, like, oh, I gotta do this extra, because you can't pick up your side of the barn. Like, everything I'm doing is extra for you. It's empowering you. But everything you're doing is just be initiated, and everything I'm doing is just adding to you and who you are and your vision, you know? Yeah.
Gotcha. So would you, if you could go back to 1950s dating, where if guy wanted to be with you, he had to marry you. It just wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Would you go back to that time?
I like experience and the seed.
What about you?
He gonna accept my hustle. We gonna make a dream team. I ain't gonna. Back then, ladies wasn't expected to work and to put in the work and shit, you know? So it's just like, you can't expect for me not to work because I still have to feel like I have that individuality inside of our relationship. Like, we're one, but we're a team.
Okay.
But you're gonna have to respect that. I'm gonna contribute one way or another. So.
Okay. Now, do you ladies think that you owe men in general? And then your boyfriend or spouse, husband, do you owe them anything?
I never thought about that.
I never thought about that either. It depends how much they're pouring into me. If they're pouring into me some shit that I don't know, some shit that they're teaching me, it's like, yeah, I owe you.
Not even that, just straight off jump. You start dating somebody, or just men in general, that you owe them anything at all?
No.
Sometimes I feel like I do. Sometimes for all that what they do
It
for
depends on
me.
the person.
But I'm about to say it definitely depends.
Do you think gender roles have a place in society today?
What do you mean?
Like gender roles, before the 50s, 60s kind of thing.
Yes, because back then they made a concept that women should only be barefoot and pregnant and taking care of household things, that we weren't allowed to work. I believe in a relationship it is equal. I work, you work, we both pay bills. You know, you might want to take on the rent or the mortgage, but hey, let me at least pay for the other accommodations, and then we can still travel and have fun together. It is a 50-50 thing. No one is more than the other. Now, as a woman, if we choose to allow our man to lead and we follow, then yeah, but you're not lesser than your partner.
Okay. And, do you think it would benefit men if women went back to their traditional roles?
No, it would be putting us back in a dark age.
Okay. And do you think it would benefit women if men were in their traditional roles?
No. A lot of men don't even know how it feels to have a job with benefits or a 401k.
Gotcha. So if you could, you wouldn't go back to the 50s if you could.
No.
Okay. So
I like having my own money.
but the funny thing is this. So like one of the first questions that I asked, you got the room A and room B. Well, room A, I tell you, like 100% of ladies go, of course I would go there. Right. Well, those are basically men in their gender role.
Oh, hell.
Yeah, right? Now, do you think it would benefit men if women went back to their full traditional roles?
No, because if you can't keep a bad bitch, then you can't keep at all.
Well, and do you think it would be beneficial for women if men went back to their gender roles? Not.
Because I mean, as we've all evolved, and I feel like men could work on their things and women can work on their things as well. But I mean, it would be nice for a guy to open the door every once in a while or compliment them or bring them flowers. But I mean, not all the time, just every once in a while would be great.
I agree. That would be nice. So if you could go back to the 50s and date in that world.
Oh,
it sounds
yes.
Like, you say you would?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Loyalty. Loyalty.
Yeah,
Back
from
then.
first, yeah. 18, 19, 20, 21. You're already married at that time.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
So the interesting thing is this. When I was describing room A and room B, room A is pretty much guys in their gender role.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. And I find that most ladies want men in their gender roles.
Yes.
But then on the flip side, ladies don't want to go back into that gender exchange it. Right? And you think
And that, honestly, I agree with that because as a female, like I have been through that. I'm guilty as charged. I've been through the same thing, and I've done my whole shit. But at one point, we just stopped, and we're kind of tired of doing the same shit over and over again, and we just kind of want a guy that will like anchor us, pretty much.
So let me paint a picture for you. So let's say you work at a job, okay? You just started, and you know that all the other employees there, they work there for 3 months, and then they got a 20% pay increase. Now all you have to do is show up on time, and you have to hit all your numbers. And you do that, but you've been doing it for 5 months. Everybody else got a raise but you. Do you feel like you deserve that raise?
I'm going to get my email together. I'm going to let them know what I bring to the table, how I am doing compared to other people, and why I think I deserve the raise that I think that everybody else is thinking and I'm not getting. Like, if I know I bring something to the table, I'm going to make it known that I bring something specifically, and you need to match what I'm asking, because, I mean, I can go take my work elsewhere. Everybody is.
So it's like, yeah, because you work and everybody else did it, so they owe you. And what about you? Do you feel that they will owe that to you? Everybody else is doing it, and you've been doing it longer than they have, but they got raises and you did.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so you would say that you deserve it. The way to say that you deserve something is to say that somebody else owes you. So if you say that men you don't owe them anything, does that mean that men don't deserve anything?
Not
The men in that generation
necessarily.
don't.
I feel like it depends on the person.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think you owe men in general, and then also your spouse, when you start dating again, do you think you owe them anything, just from jump?
No.
Okay. So it sounds like today, it's a lot of miscommunication, but we get a lot where it seems like ladies would love men to be in those traditional masculine gender roles.
Okay.
Let me be a leader, 5-year plan. Let me, people who want to work, like you mentioned.
Okay.
People don't mind to protect, lead, to be decisive, to be disciplined, right? But ladies don't want to get the gender roles in return.
Because if we do, we've been told if we switch roles and if we make more of a priority to seem like we're more masculine, men don't like that. Men don't like for women to speak up. Men don't like for women to say, oh, I make more money than you. Men don't like for say, oh, let me call the plays. It takes away from guys' masculinity.
Right. Yeah, some guys can feel that way, yeah.
Some guys do feel that way. And then if we do get the ones that do allow us to do that, they're mama's boys. They want us to take care of them. So we're at a lose-lose.
So, well, which way would you go? You could go to that room A, but you know that room A guys, those are basically...
Sometimes it's easier to just go with the opposite sex.
You say to go with the opposite sex?
To go with the opposite sex.
So you mean are you saying go with ladies?
Go with ladies.
Oh, man. So do you date ladies?
Conversation-wise, yeah.
Conversation-wise, have you ever had a relationship with a lady?
No.
I would love to touch base with you after you have about 2 or 3 of those relationships.
Yeah.
When I describe room A and room B, room A is basically men in their gender roles. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And most ladies do say A. Some say B. I say you got the experiences and things like that. But most ladies say room A. They want men in their gender roles. And what we find is that ladies want men in their gender roles, but the currency, the payment to get men in their gender roles is to be in your gender role. And so we find that women want kind of like one way. So another way to say that is that they owed you. So 'cause
Yes.
you deserve it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if you don't owe men anything, does that mean that they don't deserve
Touche. You got me on that one.
it? Do you think it's a good thing?
Man, I really can't speak for like 7 billion people out there in the world, but I would say that to a certain extent, it is. Because, I mean, like as a woman, I mean, obviously like there's equality and everything, but like as a woman, sometimes I do think that although I don't mind like providing for the family, taking on like the breadwinner role and whatnot. Sometimes I do think, okay, well, let's say that I have a kid and then something happens, right? What then?
And last question from me. So if you had the option to go to room A, but all you had to do to get those guys in their gender roles was to be in yours, would you make that exchange?
It'd be a lot of convincing. But yeah.